parents, and you'll know more about the session from our expert. But we'll wait till more parents join in before I introduce our expert and tell you more about the topic.
Right.
I hope that clears your doubt, ma'am.
Sure,
Well,
sure.
okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. While more parents join in, just to add, you can rename yourself, those who are joining from the phone. Kindly rename yourselves to your name or your child's name. If you want, you can add the school name or just rename yourself so that we can identify you better. And also, at all times, keep yourself muted unless you want to ask us, a question or a query. And it would be nice to have all of you on camera when our facilitator is interacting with you.
Hello.
Yes.
Uh,
Talking to us, sir.
I'm calling from Subhrajit Rai. Subhrajit Rai, class 7 pass out. Hello.
Sir,
Hello,
are you
ma'am.
talking to us?
Subhrajit Rai. Subhrajit Rai. My child name is Subhrajit Rai.
Okay.
Class 7 final exam completed. I am talking about the practical knowledge. Gaining the practical knowledge. Hello.
Okay, okay. Yeah, sir, I can hear you. We can hear you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that. You'll have to wait for the session to start, sir, and your questions can be taken slightly at the end of the session. That would be more helpful for other parents also.
But 2 minutes I have talked with the principal.
Subhendu, first you listen what she want to communicate. Then only you raise your voice.
Sir, this session is not school specific, sir. This session is catering to all parents from all the schools that Val-Ed Initiatives has
Thank
an
you.
association with. So
Yes,
you'll
yes.
have to wait for a minute, sir. You'll have to wait for us to introduce. And once the session goes, if your question is relevant to what is happening in the session, you can ask questions freely at the end of the session. We'll give you 10 minutes for that.
Right, right.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. We'll solve. Even if it is not related, we'll try our best to solve
Yeah, yeah.
your problem and your
Fair
query.
enough. Fair enough.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think we'll begin. We've reached a certain number. We'll begin. So parents can at least can we have a show of your thumbs up to know that we are all together, we are all present here? Great, great. You can send the thumbs up. I can see lots of thumbs up happening. Great, great. That's amazing. Okay, so before I start introducing our expert, I would like to warmly welcome all our parents who have taken this time on a Saturday, that too at 4 o'clock, when you probably just finished your lunch and you're trying to enjoy your weekend. We are truly grateful that you chose to attend this session. And I'm sure this is going to be a meaningful one to you and for your parenting journey. But before I begin, I just want to share a small anecdote, a small incident that has happened in my life. And I'm sure all of you have also experienced this. So one day, my daughter, she came from school and she showed me her hand that her teacher had given her a star sticker. And she was very happy. She was very excited. And she came and she showed me that I got a star. So at that point, obviously, as a mother, I was also happy. I smiled. But the next thing I asked her was, for what did you get? What did you learn? What did you do? How much marks you got? So that was my first reaction. She looked at me and then she like, but I got a star. Then it made me just pause for a couple of seconds and actually process it. That it's okay sometimes to not overload the child with so many questions. It's okay. The child got a star, the child was happy. You share that happiness and build that excitement. And I think I was able to pause and reflect because I work in a space where we work very closely with students, with teachers, with parents. So I was able to reflect. But I'm sure for many parents who don't have that exposure on a day-to-day basis, where either they are corporates or they work in a different work setting, sometimes it takes time to understand these things. And that is exactly why we thought that this particular theme of finding a balance as a parent is so important for all of us. And with that, we couldn't find a better facilitator, a better parenting coach to come and do this session for all of you. She has done a session with us earlier on stress, anxiety, and children, which was one of our most highly rated sessions. And we had 200 plus participants in that session from the beginning to the end. If you already know her, it's Miss Anagha Bharat, who is a parent coach. She's a psychologist. She has over a decade of working experience with children and families. She holds a psychology degree from Women's Christian College in Chennai and also a master's degree in counseling. She's done it from the University of Nottingham, UK. So she is the best person who can help us. She is also known by the name of the Cosmic Parent, and she uses that name in her social media handle. And this is a humble request to all of you that if you are on social media, do follow her for more tips and strategies and solutions to your day-to-day parenting challenges. She will be able to help you more. But for today, she's here with us to help us navigate through this topic on finding the right balance. And I'm sure you're going to leave the session feeling less burdened and feeling more empowered to celebrate the small joys of your child as well as take equal participation in their learning journey. So over to you, Anada.
Thank you so much, Vinita, for that lovely introduction. I'm really humbled all those things that you said about me. Parents, I am just honored that I am getting this opportunity to be interacting with all of you, because me teaching and helping you is one thing, but the more I listen to all of you and hear your stories, they are all learnings for me, because it keeps me connected to the real world. It keeps me connected with what parents are actually struggling with nowadays, and that is what is helping me tailor these sessions and come to you and help you. So really honored to be here on this side. And that story that you said, Vinita, it brought out so much of honesty. Can I just request everyone to please be on mute, because then it affects my thoughts.
Yes, parents, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. You can take your calls after muting yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It just brought out so much of honesty, right? And what you rightly said, that because you are in such a space which is giving you that freedom, that encouragement to actually think about what could be running in a child's mind, it becomes easier. But for the majority of us who don't have that daily touch point with our children, who don't have that kind of uh, that option to think, having someone guiding becomes very important. Like if you take my story itself, right? I am a psychologist, so when I had my first child, I thought I'm going to ace this. It's going to be super easy because I've already worked with children for so long. But little did I know that dealing with a baby and understanding a baby's language is totally different. And I struggled big time. I was a major failure. And I somewhere realized along the way that whatever I'm doing is wrong. I'm doing many things wrong, because of which I'm not able to connect. I didn't enjoy my child's company. I didn't enjoy her infancy at all. Uh, so that is when I realized I needed to go learn. I needed to go understand something, how it is, what it is about babies, and how can I really connect with them. So that is how my whole journey began. And so with that, I would like to say that it's a wonderful story that you shared, Benita. Thank you so much. And it is a great privilege for me to be here, to be collaborating with Val-Ed initiatives, because from what I have understood, right? So many of you parents, the children, all of you, this really seems to be an organization that is so committed to the entire child's and the family's welfare. They have the child as the stakeholder, the parent as the stakeholder, the educational institution as the stakeholder. So they are really bringing all of you together, and the education that they are imparting is truly holistic. And when institutions and organizations are talking about mindset shifts and emotional health, that is when we know that they are ready to bring about meaningful change. So thank you to the entire team of Val-Ed Initiatives, and Vinita especially for being our medium. Thank you so much for bringing me here back again and to be interacting with all of you. So this evening, I'm going to be talking about something which is very, very, very powerful, very personal to all of us. That is finding the right balance, right? Everywhere you go, people are talking about balance, whether it is the workplace or it is schools, wherever you go. So that is what we see. So why is this so important? We will have a look shortly. I think you will be able to see my screen, right? Yeah, okay. So what is the reality of parenting today? For this, I want you all to just take a minute and think about what are the thoughts that are coming up. So this I have a word cloud for you. Okay. So if you have your phone, can you please scan this QR code? Or I will also share the link. Let me just try to share the link as well. So that I can have all of you. See if you can just access it through that. You should be getting a question on your screen. Yes, parents, can I have some? Yeah, you are all voting. I can see that. Yes, responsibilities, challenging, commitment, empowering. Okay. Yes, parents, please do vote. Nurturing, lot of responsibilities. Yes. You can access it through the QR code. Can we have some more responses, please?
ಜೆಡ್
Stress.
ಫೇಲ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅದು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಲೋರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ.
Sorry, did you ask me any question? Okay. Hectic, intelligence, enjoying the whole study process again. They are our future. Social media, a lot of joy along with the responsibility. Yes, it is an emotional journey. That's right. That's right. So it is a lot of feelings are coming up. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop the poll with that. So you all gave me a lot of responses, right? And that must be eliciting a lot of feelings within also. So a lot of you already shared. So when we look at parenting today, it does feel very different to what it felt for our grandparents and even our parents, right? If we actually just pause and if we observe truthfully, we will see that parenting feels very intense. It feels like a lot is happening and we are taking a lot of weight on our shoulders. And and this is true especially because we seem to be raising children in a very high intensity performance driven world where competition has seeped in uh, quietly, and it is finding its place in every nook and corner. Right from the beginning, when we look at our infants, has your child started walking? Oh, mine started at 12 months. When is your child started speaking 2 words? Ah, mine said at 18 months. So we sense this competition right from there. Okay, even when the child, babies are only doing what they are naturally meant to do. Every baby will talk, will walk, unless there are some other neurological deficits. Okay, but that is a very small area of population. Even when babies are doing what they are supposed to do, we have brought in competition, we have brought in speed. Somewhere we have internalized that being fast is good. I don't know where this has come from, but it has, and it seems to be impacting a lot of the decisions that we are taking. One is competition, and the other is fear. There is a lot of fear that we are having. A lot of our decisions are influenced by this fear. Arre, if we don't do this, then that will happen. If we, there is fear of being left behind, fear that if we don't buy certain kind of toys, or if we don't put our children in some classes, our children will not learn, our children will not get smarter, our children will again, fall behind in class. There is somewhere, there's a lot of fear of comparison. There is fear for us that, am I the right parent? Am I doing enough? Is my child happy with me? So this is a big fear, and this is what is leading to that big parental guilt that a lot of us have, and a lot of parents who come to me, but they share about this. So this has become the reality of parenting. Now, many of us, because we are understanding this, we have decided, we understand that we need to have balance. So what do? We either start overcompensating, or we uh, you know totally take a backseat, right? For example, where is my slide? Yeah. So we totally take a backseat. So like in the first case, you can see the parent over here she has taken too much control of the situations, right? So she is taking, she is on the below part. Then over here there are cases where the parents take a total step back, where they need to step in also they don't. And so there it becomes more a case of permissive parenting, where they need to take certain decisions also, they are not able to, because it is almost like they're walking on eggshells, and the child becomes more in control. The child ends up having more power. So that is also not a very healthy situation. So what we need is this place where the child and the parent are both equal participants in the relationship. And that is where, when such a relationship is there, is when we can say that the balance spectrum is equal. Now, to understand this balance, what we really need to do is also understand brain development. Okay, understand child development. Now, let us just think, assuming, see, children from around 6 years is when they start attending about 6 hours of school, right? So 6 hours, and let us say on an average, there are 200 working days in a school. So that is about 1200 hours, okay, that they are having. So that is only about 80 to 85%. That is about 80% of the time that they are spending. Sorry, that is only 20% of the time that they are spending in schools. The remaining 80% is actually being taken care of at home. So this is 6 years onward. So before 6 years, the child is spending even lesser time at school. So The bulk of time is in the home environment, is in informal settings. And 0 to 6 is the time when approximately 85 to 90% of the brain development is happening. Okay, which means over 1 million new neural connections are formed every second in early childhood. What do I mean by neural connection? Neural connection means when the brain starts to think, okay, or develops any particular function, then neurons start forming, neurons start firing, chemical reactions happen. So the more neuron connections the child has, the better the thinking, the better the intelligence is forming. So that is what we want. Now, many people understand this. So what do they say? They say, okay, now 6 hours of schooling happens only at grade 1 plus. So let me put my child in some class or some school earlier itself. So at 1.5, 2 years, they start putting. Fair enough. But still, the child is going to spend only about 2 hours in school. And even in a school setting, they are going to be getting trained only in certain aspects in a very structured way. But what is happening at home is that before age 3, children develop a whole lot of skills. Physical. So if you think
Mama,
about
aku
it,
lagi bengong sekarang.
a child
Papa
starts
lagi nih.
moving only when he is at home, even before he reaches school. Cognitive development of how to think happens when we encourage free play. So if your child in school typically is, they will give some problem. They are teaching something and they are also giving the answer. But how to think is what babies learn when they are manipulating objects, when you give them open-ended objects to play. That is how problem solving, that is how creativity, that is how early language skills all is developed like this. And they are also learning sense. How are they learning cooperation, responsibility? So when you take them to the park, right, they are waiting for their chance to get on the swing. They are, when someone will come and snatch, typically toddlers will come and snatch objects, toys. So how does your child react? So all of these things are teaching social skills. So a bulk of the learning is happening before your child even goes to school. Right. So this is where the parents play a far greater role in child development than schools. So what exactly is the role of a parent? If this is what it is, if we are the most important part of the puzzle over here, so what is our role? Traditionally, many of us think that, it is our role is to provide. Our role is to make things available for our children. Yes, that is there. But more than anything, more than just coordinating, managing their schedules, buying things, making things available for them, taking them on holidays, our true role is very, very different. One is that we are an emotional anchor, right? Which means when children get upset and say they are upset, say someone snatched the toy, okay, or say that they were seeing the phone and you decided now enough of screen time, I'm going to pull the phone away. So they are upset and they are going to start screaming or end up with a huge tantrum because they don't know how to express. If it is an adult, we will say, it is my time with the phone, give it to me, I need it. Why are you taking all this talk? An adult is capable of, but a child does not know. So they are getting into very unfavorable ways of expressing their emotions, right? Why? Because this prefrontal cortex, that is this part of the brain which is responsible for thinking, logical reasoning, decision taking, language development, all of this, it develops only by the time a person is about 22 to 25 years. Okay, so that is when we become a complete adult. So imagine a 4, 5, 10-year-old child. Of course, decisions are going to go wrong because this is still developing. So at such a time, we need to be their emotional anchor, which means we cannot be shaming them. We cannot take their emotions personally. We need to be able to hold space to help them understand what is going on. Why are they getting so upset? we need to be that emotional anchor. Then we need to be a boundary setter. So a boundary setter is, when, say, for example, say with this phone example only, okay? They are, you take it and they get upset. And in their upset, they try to take and throw something else, or they kick you, or or younger children, they'll come to bite you. Now, do you think you can allow all these? No, we all know not to allow these behaviors. So what do? Many times, if we don't have a control of our own emotions, we will end up saying, what did you do? How dare you do that? And fatak karke we will give one nice to them. Is that going to work? It will not work, because they will either start ignoring you because they know that now what is this parent capable of? They will only hit me, or they will fear you, which also we don't want. Why? We will see that a little later. So we need to be a boundary setter, means we need to be able to stop those behaviors. If they are kicking, we have to be able to hold them and say, I can't let you do that. Or if they are, talking rudely, older children, 5 years plus, they are very much capable of back answering and being very rude and banging the door if they are upset at you and things like that. How do we respond? So we need to hold a boundary and say, hey, you seem to be very upset now. And you have a lot of things to tell me, but I'm not going to be listening to you at this point. When you are in a better state, that time I will listen. So this kind of response is what we should be able to do. So that boundary we need to put. Then we need to be their values guide. Values guide means to be able to bring out their moral compass, their inner, that Vivek Shakti, we say, no, to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. That is what we need to bring out. Let me give you an example for this one. There was this parent who had shared this story. He has a 4-year-old daughter. Okay. And they were going in the car and the dad was driving and someone else cut the signal or drove in a rash way. So this dad immediately he got angry and he said, madman, what does he even know? Now he is right because the other fellow has cut the signal and has been driving in a wrong rash way. So this father is right. But now this child has picked up this word madman. So now, then this father came and shared with me. Next one whole month after this incident had happened, even after a month, this child was, every time someone did something on the road, even now the father didn't react, but now the child started saying, madman, 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 madman. So you see what has happened. The child has picked up on this. Although the dad was right over there, and the dad is justified to have that anger, but the child has picked up. What has the child picked up? That this is what my parent thinks about someone. These are everyday challenges and scenarios that come. So you will ask me, so are we not supposed to say anything in front of a child? No, that's not what I'm saying. Please be honest with your responses. But what I suggested to this dad was to go back and have a conversation with her, saying that, you know what, that day I said it like this, but I think I said a bit too much. I think I was pretty rude about that. I was very irritated that day that he almost came and hit our car. And I know you have caught on to that, but I think I should be forgiving that person. So that brings that connection, that value of compassion, that value of forgiveness, because otherwise the child is going to form an impression, and they form an impression very, very quickly. So how else? So we become a value guide, then a secure base for exploration. So that is trusting our child to be able to say that, go on, I know you can do this. Go achieve. Even if you make a mistake, you can always come back. I am here to support you. And this many older parents can also connect with this, because see, when children are a little older, they are going to be spending a lot of time with friends, with their peer group. They will go for classes and they're going to be coming back home a little late, and they are going to be very They're going to explore. They are going to be very experimentative. They will, without telling you, they will go somewhere late night. They will eat something. They will go to some other friends' houses and do all these things. Now, if there is a secure base, if the child trusts you, the child will be able to come to you no matter what and say, you know what, mom and dad, today I did this. And even if the child knows that the parents are not going to agree with my decision, the child still has the confidence to come. Right. But there are many cases when children end up lying to the parents because they know that they are not going to be heard. They know they are not going to get that support. So this is something that we want to avoid. We don't want to create this kind of fear. And then for us to get to know where our child was, what my child was doing through someone else can be very, very difficult moments especially when we are dealing with teenagers and adolescents and all of that. So that is why we need to create that secure base, and all this needs to happen right from infancy. This will not happen in schools. This happens at home. And finally, a model for self-regulation. Model for self-regulation. See, for instance, say we have some uh, argument with our partner. Okay. Or we are upset with our boss. He didn't give the promotion that we thought we deserved. And we're like, stupid fellow. I know he just is not able to identify how much of effort I have put. He is purposely ignoring me and he is only favoring someone else. Children are again watching us, they are hearing us. Okay. How we deal with our frustrations. What is the language we are using? How are we making sense of our emotions? How are we regulating our mood? How quickly are we bouncing back? Are we taking our frustrations and blaming someone else? All these things children are watching and they are going to internalize these. They are not going to come and say, this I learned from you. You will see this in their behavior. Why didn't you study? No, teacher is at fault. She only didn't give me mark. She likes the other student only more. Very easily they'll come and give you these responses. This act of taking responsibility, it will not come very easily. So this is why for us we need to really be aware of our emotions. So that will take me to the next slide. Let me just share that. Yeah, so when this becomes our role, now that brings me to the point of so much our role is to do with emotion. So why are emotional foundations so important? And these statistics will be shocking to you. Huh? Globally, 1 in 7 adolescent, means between the ages of 10 to 19-year-olds, they globally experience a mental health condition, with anxiety and depression being the most common. Okay, and one other study in India found that 61% of them surveyed, Indians feel lonely. And the highest prevalence was in the age group of 18 to 34, right? So, which means what? This is the age group which is going out the maximum, which is having a lot of peer interaction, which is spending so much time on social media, which is all the time about friends and likes and hearts and all of that and achievement. So this is the age group where people are going to colleges, are getting into jobs that they want to, right? But yet they are lonely. Is there happiness? Is there peace? No. So this is a serious problem. So despite having everything, despite providing everything for your children, children are still growing up to be lonely. Why? And you see this pattern not only in adolescents, it is even in the young adults, which means the early 20s age group, that is the young millennials and the Gen Z. Okay. So the young adults in their 20s in India were found to be experiencing significant rise in mental and emotional health issues. And this is primarily driven by intense competitive pressure, rapid social change, and digital overload. Even 2 days back, I saw some article in the paper talking about this digital overload. And we are modeling that. We ourselves are not able to be without our phones and things like that. Every time that notification beeps, there is this compulsive need ki dekhna hi hai. We just need to, we are not able to stop it. And it is the same. Again, remember, their prefrontal cortex is immature. So their impulse control is poor. They are not able to stop themselves. So unless we are providing that cushioning, that emotional anchor, it is very easy for them to get strained. So you can see the data, right? So anxiety and performance pressure is maximum. Then depression and feelings of hopelessness, ki, that is it. Nothing better can happen with me. That kind of a feeling. Then digital burnout and this fear of missing out is a big fear amongst youngsters today. Career uncertainty and quarter life crisis, again, a big issue in that 20-year age group. Okay, because of which you find it, many youngsters, they keep jumping jobs. Our parents, the job that they started off with is what most likely they retired from also. But you see such patterns now. I didn't get this promotion, or I had one argument, my team member is making my life difficult. Quickly they are leaving. They don't want to continue. If one single struggle challenge comes, they want to give up and move on. That attitude, that value of resilience, ki, let us finish and see, is not there amongst the youngsters today. Relationship stress and social isolation, again, similar. One argument, that is it. I don't think I am getting enough from this relationship. Let us separate. Let us move away. Very easily, people are ending relationships, ending marriages because they are not having the strength to fight through challenges. And ultimately, they end up, submitting themselves to addictions, to substance abuse and things like that. So, what is our long-term vision? Here again, I would like you to take a minute and type in the chat box. What do you see your children having as adults? What are the qualities that you see your children having as adults? Take a minute and do give me your responses in the chat box. Yes. Can I have some responses, please? What do you see as a responsible citizen? Okay. What are the qualities? He should be respectful. There should be independence. He should have helping nature, decent and understand, which means there should be empathy. You should be able to understand situations, respect others. Yes, some more responses, please. Yeah, so respect others is coming a lot. Yes. Some more. What do you want your children, how do you want your children to be when they grow up? Not in terms of profession, but what are the qualities, what are the values you see your children having? Decent behavior, not to judge others, discipline, helpful, humble, polite. Yes, correct. So see, not one of you said child should get good marks, child should get good, decent job. No one said. So all of you realize that a child developing with these values is what is going to help you, right? So, and this is exactly what the parent should be doing. So these five values is what I also advise my families to work with. So the first one is respect. So when we say, as you all said, a lot of you agreed on this. So for a child to be respectful, we also have to be showing, modeling that respect. Do we respect our child? Which means, do we allow for the child to express his preferences, his choices? Or if we don't like something, that time we are rude to our child. So we should model that respect. Then the second quality I talk about is curiosity, this need to understand new things in life, to learn new things, right? So automatically you see this even in school going children nowadays. They say, I'm not interested, I don't want to do. पढ़ाई करनी ही नहीं है, because वैसे भी in tuition someone will do it for me. The ready-made answers are given, so I have to just copy. So that need, that joy, that interest in learning something new is not there. Why? Again, it goes back to childhood. Someone asked in the chat, I just saw the chat, is this session for young children or for teens? You will see that all these behaviors, the challenging behaviors that you see in later years, they all have their root in the early years, which is why a lot of the examples that I'm sharing will seem like, she's talking about early years. But you see, when we encourage curiosity in the young age, so when we are constantly asking why, or when they are showing interest to do a puzzle in a particular way, and we just say, "Arey, do it like this and finish off." We just give them the answer, or we get tired of answering their whys and we say, "Okay, just leave it now," and we give some other answer just to shut them up. And so the message we are giving is, your curiosity, your questions are not important to me. And then later, when they say, I'm not interested, this subject is studying this physics, chemistry, or history is not giving me any meaning, then we say, no, study. No, this is important. So how will it suddenly come? It will not suddenly come unless we encourage it right from the beginning. Then third is initiative taking. Again, many of you said helpful, good citizen. What is the quality of a helpful person? On their own, they are taking that interest. You want something? Come, I will help you. Right? We see this in our families. We say, Are, I'm asking for I'm so thirsty. I want a glass of water. My family member is not even getting up and bringing that glass of water. Itna bhi care they don't have for me. Right? So how do we, it's a very subtle quality. But this joy to work, to be participative, to make our presence felt in our family, that needs to be again inculcated right from childhood. Children will participate. They will copy you, they will imitate you. Like toddlers, if you see, they want to sweep the house, they want to clean the bathroom, they want to dust, they want to participate, they want to initiate everything. That time will say, no, bacha, आपका हाथ गंदे हो जाएंगे. Your hands will get dirty. You will fall in the water. You will have accidents. You will break your head. And so we stop them. And so when that age was there to take that interest and do things, we stop them. Then later on, we say he is not taking any interest in doing anything. He doesn't even want to get dressed himself. Everything I have to keep reminding him. Again, parents, it will not come suddenly. Then resilience, a beautiful, beautiful quality that we all must inculcate in our children. And it is going to help us also. This resilience quality is the ability to push through when we have challenges. Okay, recently I had taken a video of my daughter learning to tie her shoelace. She, 8-year-old daughter, she was just not getting it. And very happily, she was like, you help me, you help me. I will not do it. I'm not getting it. And then finally, she was getting so frustrated and she said, leave it. I don't want. But I didn't go to help her there. I said, okay, if you are not able to do, let it be. We will wait. I didn't have any fear or any pressure that I have to do it for her. No, I said, we will wait. I allowed for that discomfort in her. And after 2 days, again, she came back to try. And this time she got it. But now imagine, had I tried it for her on the first day, would she have been motivated to try again? No. She would have said, Are, Mama is there now to do it. So let me go to her. She is there anyway to help me. So this is about shoelace, but the same value can hold true for anything else also, whether it is a math sum or whether it is having a fight with a friend. The same quality of I should make repeated efforts will come only if we build resilience. And finally, independence. Again, someone had shared this thing about independence, right? So again, you see this quality of independence, young children start showing. In fact, Maria Montessori says that between the ages of 0 to 3 is when uh, independence is the need for independence is at the maximum, right? So if we want our school going child or our adolescent to be responsible, to be independent, to know that this is when they have to complete this homework, this is how they have to finish their submissions, they have to prepare themselves for the exams. If we want that to happen, we have to be able to develop their independence, allow them to try putting their own buttons when they are 2 and 3, allow them to see. I have young parents, I see young children, parents of very young children, they see when the child wants to go to the washroom, the parents will pull the pants up and down, right? The underpants. Why? The child can do it. The child may not do it correctly the first few times, but only if we allow, the child will learn that this is something I can do for myself. So, in these very small ways, we have to give them that independence. Otherwise, it is not going to suddenly come. Okay, so that is the thing. When we are developing all of these right from the beginning, we understand the importance of our participation and our role at home. So, what we really need is this hand holding, right, between the schools and the family. If we say that our job is to find a good school and put the child in the school, and school will take care of things, that is going to be not very helpful for your child, because your child will, as I've said, schools can provide peer interaction, they will deliver the curriculum, they will provide structured discipline, they will facilitate all of this, right? But even discipline, the root of discipline starts right from day zero, much before your child enters school. Say, for instance, you have made idli for breakfast, okay? And your child wakes up in the morning, comes to the table and says, I don't want idli. And then what do? So you say, oh, okay, you want dosa? Okay, let me put the idli away. Let me go make the dosa and come. And remember, you are also struggling against time. You need to get to your work. You need to pack tiffin for everyone or whatever your work is. And at that time, you are giving so much of importance to this child's demand. What is the child learning? That everything will go according to my way, right? So the child learns that if things go my way, I am fine. So the moment you say no to dosa, you have to end up eating the idli, then the child doesn't know how to handle his emotions. So you see, this discipline is set much before the child goes to school. How do you help this child cope in such a situation? So these kind of values is what the parents need to provide, like provide the emotional safety, model self-regulation, shape character and mindset. Our attitude to say that, oh gosh, you're so upset about the idli. Hmm, I know. I really wish there was dosa too. I also like dosa. To be able to be this easy, right? And allow the child to express himself so that they can build the right habits. That is our job. So when we are able to hold boundaries, develop trust, and give emotional freedom, that means we are not upset if a child is upset. So if a child says, Mama, you're a bad mama, or I hate you, this used to happen a lot to me when my elder child, when my younger daughter was born, at that time, my elder one was obviously going through a lot of this discomfort with the arrival of a sibling. And she used to constantly say, I hate you. You are the worst. And initially, because I think I was also still recovering from the pregnancy and all that, I used to get so upset. I used to get so hurt. How is my child talking to me like this? Then it took me some time to detach and say that, hey, she can say whatever she wants. I know who I am. I know what I need to do. I know when I need to spend time with baby number one and baby number two. So, yes, I understand you are upset that my time with you has reduced and now I'm here with baby number two. But fair enough. But your opinion of me is not going to decide how I feel. So, this was a very important learning for me as well. So, this emotional freedom, when we are able to raise children like this, it makes a lot of difference in their confidence, right? So, what is it? What can we really do to bring about change? Very small changes we need to make, right? Small changes which are going to have a big impact. So, what is most important is that we decide to take action. We make a decision that today onwards, I am going to be emotionally available for my child. I am going to not take my child's opinions personally, or I am going to hold boundaries consistently, or I am going to make consistent routines, taking my child's view and decision into account. So when we decide to take action and we work on it, it is going to have a huge impact on our child's personality tomorrow. So, what can I start doing immediately? This is what many of you may find actually helpful, right? Because all parents at different ages go through challenges, and parenting is a role that it never ends. Once you are a parent for life. Like my mother still worries about me. When I take the phone, have the kids eaten? Are they troubling you? Is everything okay? Are you able to manage your work? Even today, my well-being is her concern, right? So we are always going to be thinking about our children. So challenges are always there. It is not that the early years are difficult or the teenage years are difficult. Each phase comes up with its own challenges. But yes, the earlier you forge connections with your child, earlier you learn to have open communication, trusting your child is what is going to help you even later on. So, first thing is respect yourself first. Second, you acknowledge and empathize. Third, you build on trust. Then you accept all emotions, not behaviors. And lastly, you hold consistent boundaries. So we will take each one separately. Okay. So the first is respect yourself. Why? If all of us said that we want our child to be respectful, right? Now, for that, for your child to be respectful, you have to first respect yourself, which means, say, if you have lost your patience, okay, for instance, you ended up shouting because you were tired and then you couldn't cope with the noise level in the house and you ended up shouting at your child. And then you feel guilty, right? You feel bad that "Hi, it was my mistake. I couldn't control my emotions." So you go and apologize. Now, many parents nowadays, in this whole need to be gentle parents and very soft parents, they keep apologizing. They say, "Oh, I know I did it wrong. Okay, I will take you for ice cream today." They try to make up in multiple ways, right? Don't do that. Accept that, yeah, you know what, I made a mistake. I'm human too, right? It can happen. And I'm sorry about it. I will be a little more mindful the next time. I will work at thinking of trying to stop myself before the behavior. So you stop over apologizing, right? And finish that matter and then don't go revisit it. Don't try to keep on saying sorry. Or say, let's take another example. When your child is wanting you to play with him or her, or sit with him or her, or say if it's an older child, help sit with me when I finish my homework or study or whatever, and you are tired and you don't want to, you want your child to be doing it independently. But again, our guilt comes in many times and we say, okay, fine, I'll do it. So when you are cringing and when you are out of lack of interest, if you're doing it, your child is going to sense that. So it is not going to help. So it is better at such a time that you understand your own bodily needs and say, you know what, I'm actually tired. I want to lie down, or I want to just sit. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to anyone. We should be able to say this honestly to our child and accept our child's emotions of being upset and disappointed at us not participating with them. So we need to respect ourselves like this first. Okay. Then what is the next part? Yeah, acknowledge and empathize. So keep communication channels open, listen without correcting. Again, in the early years, when children are coming and sharing something about their, uh, say, school friends, he did that, or she took my eraser away, or they are taking my tiffin away, and I am not getting anything to eat. Immediately, we have our opinions. Arey, but it is you have to share, no? How else will you make friends? Why will he continue being your friend if you are not sharing yours? We have, we are ready to give our opinions, like what Vinita shared in her story early on, right? So it is very easy for us to get carried away and and talk about how we want things to be instead of just being able to just sit and listen, right? Then it is also important that we reflect back what you hear. Say, for instance, uh, say a group of boys, 8, 9 year olds, they end up pushing and having some aggression, and they end up fighting with each other. So, and they come say, he only started the fight, he did that, he is this, he is that. They keep on doing that. So, how can we respond in this? Acknowledging is very, very important. First, if had we been there in that situation, we could have stopped it. But if we were not there and for some reason we missed out on that and they are coming and telling about the story, we can say, oh, is it? Is that what happened? Okay, I'll have to go find out more about this. What do you think the other person was doing? If we can just try to get more information rather than telling them this is what they should have done, or judging the other children involved. This is how we build empathy. This is how we will show that we also understand what our child is going through. And for children to be able to come back and speak to us freely, that will happen only when we create that environment. When we have allowed them to speak is when they will also feel comfortable. Then, as we build on trust, we have to believe that our children are whole, competent, and they are independent souls on a journey. So, even for young children, right? Like for my kids, even when they were 2 years, I have allowed my daughter to hold a big jar, glass jar, open it. And once it even came crashing, she couldn't hold it properly and it completely fell. So I just went. I said, just wait there. I'm going to pick you up because otherwise you're going to get cuts. I just picked her up and I showed her how to clean the glass and, what happens if glass enters us. Thankfully, nothing had happened to her. But that episode didn't stop me from allowing her to hold the glass jar again. I said, she's capable. She can do it. If something happens, I am near. So the next time that she was holding the glass jar, I was standing next to her so that I can immediately assist her. So always trust that they can do it. They will be able to complete tasks. If not, you are always there to help. And when we are allowing them to build that expertise and that competence, it is only by making mistakes that they will develop confidence to try again. If we are scared that something unsafe will happen and we don't allow them to try itself in the first place, then that feeling of I want to keep trying again and again will never develop. So we have to work with trust. And lastly, we have to be in a space to accept all emotions, especially the negative, the uncomfortable emotions, but hold boundaries for the behaviors. What I mean is accept the emotions, the feeling behind a situation, but not the behavior. So, say your child You promised your child to take him out to a restaurant for dinner. Okay, I keep saying him, but what I mean is him or her. Okay, so you promise your child to take him out for dinner, and he is gotten all ready, and last minute, say you find out your partner, either your husband or wife, says that I'm late from work and I cannot make it, and for some reason you have to cancel your plan. Now your child gets very upset because he is ready and he's dressed and he's waiting. He's just waiting at the door to leave, right? And he is super upset and he is so disappointed by this whole thing that he is throwing something and he is saying, I hate everything. This is very unfair. You are the worst. And all his emotions. You always do this. You never give me what I want. Even last time when I wanted something, you took me to the mall and you didn't buy it. My friend is always getting everything. A lot of stuff will come out, right? He's expressing his disappointment, his sadness at not being able to go. And in that, as I shared earlier, if they come up with aggressive behaviors or very rude language, we will have to stop. But if we can understand that his disappointment is valid, he is also allowed to feel upset that he didn't get a chance to go as he was promised, then the way we look at the child is going to become softer. We will be more understanding. We will become more gentle, more caring towards our child. So that is the in essence what we need to really be doing. So I would like to share a case study. I'll just take about 3-4 more minutes. A case study of this mother I worked with, this family. And this is a story of Khushbu. And she came to me pretty recently, 4-5 months ago. And she's a mom of a 12-year-old boy. Okay. So the background is that she came to me with a lot of complaints about her son being irresponsible, her son not being able to do anything independently, her son, everything she has to keep reminding, everything is a negotiation, everything. Parenting every day was just hard, and she was not enjoying this anymore. And she started crying to me. And the background of this is that this is a child who is above average IQ, okay, academically very bright. But initially, he had some physical delays. So he started walking a little later. And then at about 3 years or whatever, he had some speech delays. And he had some slurred, like unclear kind of speech. So because of that, in her head, the child was someone who always needed help. Child was someone whom she saw as needing some special attention. So somewhere she had gotten used to being around her child very much. So that is the background. So this is how she came to me, and this is what I asked her to write feedback, and she came up with this, and I allow me to read it verbatim in her own words because a lot of her emotions are coming out beautifully. So she says, my name is Khushbu Parekh and I reside in Mumbai. I am a mother to a 12-year-old boy. To give a little background, for some reason, I always used to call him my angel. But deep down, it felt contradictory to the relationship we were actually sharing. So she came to me with this. When I approached Anagha, I was struggling as a mother. Every task I wanted my son to complete turned into either a negotiation, an argument, repeated reminders, or complete ignorance. I felt helpless and didn't know how to deal with him anymore. And then she said, so this is what the guidance that I gave her, the suggestions I gave. Anagha suggested that I begin by acknowledging my child and having authentic conversations with him. She guided me to involve him in decisions involve him in decisions and let him take ownership of his responsibilities. Trust him, truly trust him. Understand that he is naturally designed to take care of himself. Clearly lay down expectations beforehand instead of shouting after things go wrong. When did I start seeing changes? From the time I began my sessions and started implementing her guidance, the results were immediate. Even after 3 months, the positive changes are continuing. Now, what were the changes that she saw in herself? And this is beautiful, okay? The biggest transformation has been within me. The most important shift was in my perception of my son. Earlier, I saw him as a special child with limitations. Today, I see him as a loving, curious boy. I used to hesitate to introduce him to my clients because I felt he had social issues. Now, I allow him to be himself and have conversations without inhibitions. I have started trusting him wholeheartedly. When I assign him a task, I do so without doubt. Even if he doesn't complete it at times, I accept it gracefully and respect his thoughts. Sometimes something I couldn't do earlier. I no longer feel anxious when he is around. Instead, I feel he is truly a blessing in my life. I now clarify expectations beforehand, whether it's about not disturbing me during work hours or coming back home on time. I have stopped giving unnecessary instructions. I only step in when absolutely required and give him the space and freedom to explore. Correcting or guiding him has become so much easier. It sometimes feels like I have a magic wand, but I now realize the magic lies within me. When I stay calm and explain things clearly, he willingly understands and makes changes. And the changes she saw in her son. He is now more open to changes in his routine and habits because he feels involved in the decision making process. He has become significantly more responsible. Earlier, getting him ready was a daily struggle. Now he independently gets ready even when no adult is at home. His behavioral issues at school have improved greatly. He participates more, speaks in full sentences with confidence, and his understanding levels have improved. On Anagha's suggestion, he created a weekly routine that both of us follow. He understands that if he wants to make changes, we can discuss them over the weekend instead of arguing daily or constantly changing plans. Earlier, he watched nearly an hour of screen time daily. Anagha suggested reducing it. I never thought it would be possible to bring it down to 15 minutes a day. With patience and consistency, he understood the importance of engaging in other activities and has successfully maintained this change. Now, if I asked her also to say, because she came to me when her son was 12, right? I said, had you come to me earlier, what would have happened? She said, of course, it would have made my journey smoother in his early years. However, I truly believe that everything happens at the right time. I am deeply grateful that I found Anaga when I did. Okay, and I choose to trust her completely. Today, I feel more confident, calmer, and more connected to my son than ever before. And this child, he loves baking. This lady, this mother Khushbu, she's an artist, so she does a lot of painting work. So he loves being in her studio and painting with her. He is a big time swimmer. He loves basketball. So see, he has so many interests, right? But for some reason, all of that energy was being channeled into the screen time. 1 hour of YouTube he used to see. And to bring that 60 minutes to 15 minutes a day, right? It is possible, parents. If we decide to trust our child and if we decide to be fearless, to give up on our fear and just go ahead with that commitment that I want to do this for myself and my child, then it is possible. So Khushbu's success can be your success too, right? So one thing I can tell you is that all of you deserve to enjoy parenting and experience how beautiful it can be. It need not be stressful. It should not feel like a drain. Yes, there will be some bad days. There will be many tough, difficult days. All of that is there. We all go through it. But when you go to bed at night, it should feel like I love having these souls as my children. So that is the feeling you should end with every night. And you should, when you wake up in the morning, you should want to do things for them, do things with them, and enjoy their company. So that is the beauty of parenting, which all of us deserve to enjoy, right? So if you are interested in sort of learning more and to enjoy this kind of experience in your parenting, then I share a lot of this approach through my work. Please do follow me on Instagram and Facebook on the Cosmic Parent. I do group coaching for parents where I have a 3-month challenge where I teach them the Montessori and the RIE approach. RIE is RIE, resources for infant educators, on how to trust children, how to develop confidence, how to make them independent, right? And I also, for those parents who really want that personal one-on-one attention to work through their own beliefs, to work through their own emotional blockages, to work through their wounds, their hurt, their emotional burdens, all of that, who want that personal transformation, then I do one-on-one sessions as well. So if you are interested, please do DM me on Instagram and I can sort of help you over there. Do let me know that you have come through Val-Ed initiatives and I can offer you good discounts and offers, because I just want you, I want parents to feel joyful and comfortable in their child's presence, right? I know because I struggled a lot. And when I learned and I changed my mindset, I realized how things changed and how free I feel today, how light I feel as a parent. So, with that, I would like to end. Thank you so much. And thank you, Vinita, for having me over. I would be open to questions.
Sure. Thank you so much, Anaga, for I'm sure that whatever you shared will hold a lot of meaning to our parents, especially the ones who are with younger kids. And for the ones who have older kids, I'm sure they will be able to apply certain strategies you've given in a better way. So, parents, if you have any specific questions or any questions, if you just want to share something or ask something, please feel free. Please unmute yourself and you can ask her.
Okay. Okay. Hi, ma'am. Thanks for the session. Actually, I have some own questions like due to the IT world, right? In that modern world, our childs are more mature to have handling the chat GPT. So they are expecting answer from the chat GPT, everything. So they thought like that our parents are not enough to like we are not much enough on the social media sometimes. So our parents are not enough to answer the questions for those things. So they are rely on the chat GPT. How do we overcome that one?
Very good. Thank you so much for asking this, because this is the reality, right? AI has taken over our world, and it is continuing to sort of make its presence felt everywhere. And very young children are aware. They are seeing us work on ChatGPT. We are relying on ChatGPT for everything. So they know. So if we say blindly that don't take your answers from ChatGPT, is not going to, they're not going to be able to trust you, because they will turn back and say, but you are using it also. If you want something, you are also using it. So how do we do this? Okay. So over here, boundaries is very essential. So you need to, as a family, first decide, talk to your partner also and say, where am I okay for my child to use ChatGPT? May I ask your child's age?
Um, he's 12 right now.
12. Okay, fine. So for a 12-year-old, you can discuss with your partner, for what all things am I okay, am I comfortable if he uses ChatGPT, and for what are the things that I wish that he doesn't use. So you will come up with some answers, that if it is some particular school related project, I want to use it, okay, or if I want to use it just to get some ideas, whatever. And then you tell him See, ChatGPT is going to give answers on what it thinks is right. But if we don't go and physically do some research, how will our brain learn to discriminate? How will our brain learn to think that A, B, C, D are given? I feel A is correct, B is wrong, C is wrong, and D is correct. So I need to choose. Only if you do it is your brain going to develop that fine quality of intelligence, of being able to think and decide. So if we don't do it, it is not going to come. I will give you company. Come, let us also research. Let us find out from Google. Let us look for research articles. And it will require some effort from your part also, sir, to be maybe giving a little bit of more time, saying that, whatever doubts you have, on Saturday evenings, we will sit and do it. Let us read and sit with him, encourage, show that you are also willing to go through that extra effort. If we just verbally tell him, no, you're not allowed to do, and if we don't follow it up with our actions, they will start doing things behind our back. Okay, so give him the confidence that whatever your research doubts are, you write and keep. Every Saturday, you and I will sit and work on it together and sit and type on Google. Say, let us look for research articles on this or why something happens. And when he is choosing the easier chat gpt option, you can say not don't get to him showing your that you are upset. Be very easy about it, that it is not affecting. Hey, don't use that chat gpt option. Go to the next option, we are going to go through that only. So show that you are also a willing participant in this. That is going to give him the confidence to sort of try harder, and have faith, have that trust that when you are involved in it, the child will come around. It will take time, because our whole school approach, our society, everything moves towards making things easier for the child. And he will come up with options. He will say, but my friend's parents allow. You are the only one not allowing. I know, I know. But for me, you developing that quality of decision making is very important, darling. So we are going to work on this together. I hope that helps.
Yes, yes. But he understand and he knows that ChatGPT make a mistakes. But when it
Yeah.
comes to him concern, he mentioned that word. But when it's not favor for him, that time he accepted for the ChatGPT. So he is also mature enough to handle it. But we can't sit with him 24/7 to understand what he is doing, right? So that's why uh,
So you will have to
I
trust. That is why I said, see, we
yes,
cannot
yes,
control every action of theirs. So you decide for yourself any one suitable time, and that you have to stick to. So whichever that half an hour in the week, that you take out, whichever day is free for you, and unless we show that we are also committed, then they will not be motivated.
got it. Yes, yes.
Anything else?
Anyone else wants to ask any questions? Okay. Okay. So if not, yeah, we've actually overshot by 10 minutes. I think that's okay. No problem. Thank you so much, parents, for joining in. Please do take 2 minutes to fill in the feedback form. We'll share it on the group as well, because that will help us understand how you felt after the session and how we can bring in more interesting topics for you in the coming quarter. And thank you, Anaga, so much once again for being a part of this session. And we look forward that we have more associations together and discover even more meaningful topics that we could bring to our parents. So thank you again. Thank you, all of you. Have a good evening, good weekend. Take care. And you
Thank
can
you.
sign out. Sure.
Vinita, can we take one picture?
Sure, but we'll
Yes,
need
please.
parents to, yeah, parents will have to
Um,
switch on their cameras. We request parents, please, if you can switch on your camera for just 10 seconds, we'll capture a screenshot. That's great.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank
Farzeen,
you.
for reminding.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, parents. It was lovely interacting with all of you. Have a lovely weekend.
Okay, I'll count 3 and then we can just give in a smile and I'll also take a picture. Farzin, you also take a shot.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I've got the shot. I'll post it in the group as well. Thank you,
Thank
parents.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Vinita. Thank you so much. I'm leaving.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.